Hello everyone, welcome to Sai Focus TV by Patrika. I am Virender Singh, host for today's session, and today we have Shrisha Saha from IIT Kanpur, who will talk about Sun Pharma Awards. So let's welcome Shrisha Saha.
Yeah, hello Virender, hi.
Hi. So before we start, can you briefly tell us about yourself?
I'm currently pursuing my PhD from the Department of Biological Sciences and Bioengineering at IIT Kanpur under the guidance of Professor Arun Kumar Shukla. So I have submitted my thesis and I plan on defending it in 2 days. So I did my integrated MSc in biotechnology from St. Xavier's College in Kolkata. And during our final year, we have to do a dissertation project. So at that time, I had joined Arun's lab for undertaking my project, and I liked the overall work that was being undertaken over there, the overall ethics, and the entire department as a whole. So I decided to just pursue my PhD from there itself.
That's good to know that you continued your MSc dissertation and then it went on to PhD, and now you also got so many awards. So can you tell us about Sun Pharma Awards in detail and what was the application process for this?
The Sun Pharma Award is basically for acknowledging and awarding science, particularly for fourth and fifth year students. So, it is basically to promote overall good science in India. Arun has always encouraged us to apply for various awards, and he believes that good science deserves recognition and appreciation. So, he was always one of our biggest cheerleaders. And the Sun Pharma Award is something that applying for this award has been sort of like a rite of passage in our lab. So my lab mates have applied for it previously and they have won it. And this year I got a chance to represent our lab over there. So if I talk about the overall application process, it was quite straightforward. So there are two categories. One is the biomedical and the other one is for biopharmaceuticals. So basically, we first had to submit sort of a pre-application. So there we needed to submit a justification letter from a supervisor and our basic information. And after that, we had to make a detailed submission. So it comprised of the publication that we want to present over there, and along with our updated resume, an ethics declaration, an NOC, and so on and so forth. But I felt like the overall application process was quite straightforward. We did not need to prepare any documents for it separately, and most of the documents that we needed to submit was something that we already had available readily.
Thanks a lot. So I think that's good detail for people who will be applying for this award in future. So, so as you mentioned that there is some application process, but definitely the main criteria must be a research paper or a project for which you applied. So what was your project about, and can you like briefly tell about it?
Okay, so in our lab, we work on a class of receptors known as GPCRs or G protein coupled receptors. So these are the largest class of cell surface receptors, and they can perceive a wide array of different chemically divergent stimuli. And they play an important role in regulating almost all of our major physiological systems. In fact, they represent a major drug target with 40% of all commercially available drugs targeting GPCRs. So this has always been a major area of interest in the field. And so typically GPCRs, they signal through two transducers, G proteins and beta arrestin. And the particular receptor that I have been working with is a very unique receptor in terms that it does not signal through either G protein or beta arrestin. But it is implicated in a number of different disease conditions like malaria, in Staph aureus infections, in different kinds of cancer, and also in case of HIV. So we were very interested in studying that if a receptor is not signaling through G protein and beta arrestin, yet it is so evolutionarily conserved, then what is its role in the body, first of all? And second of all, what makes it so different from other GPCRs? Because at the end, it is also classified as a GPCR. So that is one of the things that we wanted to investigate. So we undertook a detailed functional characterization of this receptor, and we try to identify potential signaling pathways that are activated downstream of this receptor. And we also determined its structure by cryo-EM microscopy.
Oh, that's good to know. So I was only aware about receptors involvement in cancer, but it's involved in even malaria. or HIV infections is something like new to us.
Yeah.
So it seems very interesting project. So for this particular award, what was the like innovative aspect linked to your project that you think helped you to get this award?
Well, the most interesting thing about this particular receptor is its involvement in multiple disease conditions. So, for instance, like I mentioned, in case of P5X malaria. So, P5X malaria accounts for around 50% of all malarial cases in India. And if we talk about Staph aureus infection, then also targeting Staph aureus infection is getting more and more tricky day by day because of the development of different antibiotic resistant strains. So, if we have the structure of this particular receptor available, then we can use that structure as a template and use it to design drug molecules that can be used to interfere with or inhibit the interaction of these pathogens with that. So that is, I think, one of the most appealing aspects of this study, because this receptor actually has been people have been studying this receptor for quite some long time, and all around the world there are several labs who are trying to determine the structure of this receptor. Unfortunately, we could come up with it, because I think one of the major problems that we faced was this receptor does not couple to either G protein or beta arrestin. So most of the GPCR structures that are available in the market are either in complex with G protein or beta arrestin. So targeting this receptor was a little bit tricky, but then it had a very interesting appeal. And I guess the overall goal of the project was to, do what that was difficult. So yeah, I guess that is it.
I think this is very challenging project looks like, and definitely it has, I think, huge impact. So based on your experience during the whole application process, uh, how you like prepared yourself for this particular like award, and what were the like challenges when it comes to final presentations or pre-presentation preparations?
Well, to be honest, like preparing for the presentation was not really an overnight process, because I think I have been working on this project since 2020. So I am like very well aware of it, and I have presented it multiple times during our lab meetings or during annual progress reviews. And also during in IIT Kanpur, we have to present our work at different stages in different seminars all throughout our PhD. So I think the more you discuss about your work, the more you talk about it, the better an understanding of it you develop, and the better you understand it, that helps you to better present it later on. So the overall presentation was just a culmination of the years of presenting this work again and again and going over it again and again.
That's good to know that you don't have to prepare it like separately, and it's something like which is ongoing and that helped you to get
Yes.
the award. Great. So the last thing is, what advice you'll give to people who will be applying for this award in future?
Based on my experience, my advice to future applicants would be to have an in-depth understanding of their study, because that I feel is very, very critical. Doing good science is all about having a good grasp of the particular topic with which you are working, and you should understand it inside and out, starting from the underlying principles, the experimental designs, and even the various shortcomings, because every study has some shortcoming or the other, and it is very important to be aware of the potential caveats in your study. And I guess that is it. I mean, more or less, I would say, like, do not worry too much about applying. Just focus on your work, focus on having a good understanding. When you have a good understanding, you can present it well. And if you can clearly present your vision and your science, then that always increases your chances. So I would just like to wish everyone all the best with their endeavors and applications.
Yeah. Thank you, Shresha. I think these were like valuable tips for all the applicants for next cycle, and they'll be definitely getting benefit out of your experience and the tips you shared. Thanks a lot again for joining us.
Thank you, Virender. It was really nice talking to you.